class, it's Ashley with School and Life's Mentor Me, and I'm back for another mentoring moment. This week, I'll be teaching you how to answer any interview question flawlessly. Interviews can be so stressful and produce a lot of anxiety for interviewees, but there is strategy to interview well and position yourself as a top candidate, and I'm going to teach that to you. The first thing that you need to know when it comes to interviewing is that there are different types of interview questions. There are scenario-based interview questions, there are personal or more poignant interview questions, and there's interview questions where interviewers are trying to ask you about your experience in working with teams, working in groups, or leading strategic projects. This interview strategy is perfect for the first, where it's a situational based question, or when they're asking you about your experience working with teams, groups, or projects. So let's dive in. The first thing that you want to do to answer any interview question flawlessly is to tell the interviewer about a past experience related to the question asked. You can simply say, in 2018, I had a similar project that I led, period. And then you can go on from there, and I'll teach you the rest of the strategy as we go on. But you want to get very specific. Don't just say, oh, I've had lots of experiences with that, or I did that at my last job. Go ahead and give them a very specific example of when you've done similar work, when you've had a similar experience, when you've led a similar team in the past. You can say last spring, you can say in 2017, you can say at my former employee in Q2, whatever that looks like. Go ahead and zero in on a very specific example. You can even say, I've had lots of experiences with this, but one that sticks out in my mind is when I had to help a colleague navigate a challenging situation with a new employee in the fall of 2019. Employers really like it when you get really specific because they know that you're being targeted in your answer and you can recall a specific example that relates to what they're asking. From there, you want to provide a brief overview of the problem. And I mean brief. You don't have to give them every detail of every framework that happened in the scenario. You just want to say, in 2018, I had the opportunity to lead a project that had 3 strategic parts. I was in charge of, providing supervision and direction to each of the 3 parts, and then providing an overview and wrap up of that work. So you want to specifically talk about what you were responsible for, and how you led in the example. It's important to break it down, right? To show the full process. Too often when interviewing, people just say, yeah, I led a team and it worked really well. You want to say, I led a team with the goal of bringing in 4 new clients. And I was primarily responsible for marketing and promotion and development of the project, and then leading all the key stakeholders in the other areas that we were responsible for. So really lay it out for an employer. Let them know exactly what your role was, what you were responsible for, and how the project really rolled out under your leadership. Number 3, you want to explain the steps you took to manage and resolve the issue or problem or the project that you were working on. So just like in storytelling, a good story has a problem. It has a villain. It has some problem to solve. So you want to talk about the fact that, before you were leading the project, they were really having trouble bringing in new customers or clients. Before you leading the project, they were really struggling with operational development of this project. They were really struggling with how to streamline the project and make it seamless. Before working with you, onboarding new team members was all over the place, but after working with you, it was a lot more streamlined, right? So you really want to walk the employer through the problem that you solved. And you want to talk about, before I came onto the project or program, or before I led the employee, it was like this, and with my leadership, it was like that. So you really want to talk about what I call share the delta. And this is an insider tip. You want to share the delta. You want to say exactly how it was before you led, before you became involved, before you were doing the work, and then how it was after you led, after you were involved, right? Because you're a change agent, you're a change maker, and you want to talk about exactly the work that you were able to do, the way that you were able to transform as a result of leading in this work. Number 5, you want to share the resources that you use and the partners that you collaborated with. This is important because we don't do any work alone, right? You want to talk about the team that you led and how you were able to delegate to them to get the work done. You want to talk about the stakeholders, the president, the students that you were working with, perhaps the marketing team that you worked with, the project manager that you worked with. You want to talk about the other stakeholders, and you want to make sure that you're centering yourself in the interview answers. Obviously, you are the interviewee. They're not hiring the team, they're hiring you. But this is an opportunity for you to talk about how you lead and provide support and direction to other stakeholders when they're a part of a project. Employers are looking for leaders. So you want to talk about how you led other people, how you developed other people, how you made sure that other people were supported as a part of the work. That's critically important. And that's going to be the difference between, them hiring you and then them hiring someone else, because you positioned yourself as a top candidate. Next up, we want to describe the outcomes and the improvements that occurred. So again, it's about sharing the delta. You want to talk about the fact that there was a 20% increase under your leadership, or there was a 3% change, or the organization saved $20,000 under your leadership. You want to share exactly what the outcomes were, and you want to be specific about that. This is an opportunity for you to get quantitative, right? You want to get really quantitative. Exactly what was the change under your leadership? Exactly how things were improved. And, I definitely encourage you to get quantitative here, but if it is qualitative, if you just heard resounding positive experiences from donors or other people who were participating, go ahead and share that. That's great to share that, we received great feedback from our donors and we received great feedback from the community. But you want to share, and this is number 7 in the final step, you want to share how it was evaluated and how you made that success sustainable. And ding, 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 again, here is the game changer, because it's not just about doing something well once, it's about your ability to sustainably do things well over time and assess how good they are and how you can make them sustainable. So you would say, and I'm just so proud of this work because we were able to see a 20% increase year over year, and our community really enjoyed the program as evaluated by our annual survey. And we were able, any points where they thought there could be improvements, we were able to make those improvements, right, in the upcoming year to improve the program overall. And we've been able to keep those changes that we made from the first year that I did it to create sustainability in the program so that we can do it again and again successfully, right? And so you want to speak to, again, not only that it was successful and how you know it was successful, but you want to speak to your evaluative method. Again, that's number 7. You want to speak to that evaluative method, and you want to speak to how you built in a sustainable process in that evaluative method to make sure that it's sustained and successful again and again and again. So let's recap. Strategy number 1, tell them about a past experience related to the question asked. Strategy number 2, provide a brief overview of the problem. Strategy number 3, explain the steps you took to resolve the problem. Strategy number 4, share the resources that you use and the partners and collaborators that you involve. Step number 5, describe the outcomes and improvements that occurred. And step number 6 and 7, give the success metrics that you use to evaluate and sustain the solution. It is key that you do all these steps. A lot of people stop at step number 3, but you've got to go all the way through that metric, that process, and make sure that the employer really knows that you're an expert, that you're positioning yourself as someone who knows what they're doing and they know how to do it well, and that they're really able to really tell a story through their interview answer. This is going to be a game changer for you. I feel confident that this is going to help you position yourself as a top candidate in interviews going forward. Let me know if this was helpful. I really want to hear in the comments, as you're preparing for your next interview, how you'll use this strategy. If you have any questions about interviews or interview strategy, drop them in the comments below. I am so excited to help you answer any of your questions about interviewing. I know that it can be a really stressful experience, but I'm here to help. Also, I'm accepting new mentees, so let me mentor you. You can check out my website at mentor-me.org. Again, that's mentor-me.org. Schedule your mentor moment, and I will talk to you about the most pressing issue facing your career and how I can best serve you as a mentor. I cannot wait to mentor you. I'll see you next week. Bye.